Butch Cassidy. Kind of embodies America. I just think he had a spirit that was rebellious as all fuck. Butch understood that the gentrification of the West was the enemy. The people who were in control of it then were ruthless. There's no way to beat them. All you can do is piss them off. The tintype that I have it's Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, and the rest of the Hole in the Wall gang. 5 men that were basically outlaws. I think the movie, with Paul Newman and Redford, I think Newman's portrayal of Butch is probably a lot like what he was like. I think there was an alter ego of him that really would have been a great politician because he had that kind of charisma. I think he knew how to read a room. He wherever he was, including banks he was robbing. But I don't think Sundance was quite as affable as Robert Redford. He was the foil to Butch. The other guys, there's not that much known about them. And what is known seems to indicate that they were a little bit more ne'er-do-well bandit types. When you're holding a tintype, it was there. It was there. It was this far from whoever was in that picture. I found the tintype on a site called Shop Goodwill. One of the categories they use is collectibles, and that's where a lot of the clocks are, because I like to fix clocks and lamps and things. That's what I do. I like to restore. I did have a vague notion of what Butch and Sundance really looked like. You just start doubting it. You're like, it can't be. Why would I be the person to be finding this? At about an hour before the auction was going to end. And it ended, and I had it, and I was like, holy shit, this thing is mine now. If you see a picture of Butch or Sundance right now, if you Google it, most of the time it's just taken from the Fort Worth picture. It was a traditional portrait sitting taken by John Swartz, and they all got gussied up in $5 suits, which that was an expensive suit then. They were high on the hog then when they took that picture because they had just come off a bank robbery and a train robbery, and they got together and they met and they went to this place called Hell's Half Acre, which was in a part of Fort Worth. That picture was the reason that they became the legends that they became. But I think there's so much more going on with that picture that I've never heard anybody discuss. One thing that's talked about with Butch is his bulldog jaw, that he had this super wide Palooka jaw. They use that term a lot, Palooka Jaw. There's 2 known pictures of Butch where the jaw is prominent. There's a mugshot taken in 1894. That's the first real known and accepted picture of him. And he's in his 20s. The next picture that is known of him is the Fort Worth 5 picture. And his jaw in that picture backs up the imagery that we see in the mugshot. So that makes sense. Why would anybody question it? And so nobody did, ever. He doesn't look like he's got the bulldog jaw in my picture, the way he does in the known pictures. And I know that Butch had his image altered in the Fort Worth 5 picture. I know it. I spent a few days at the Library of Congress going through the Pinkerton archives. They were like the arch nemesis of high crime back then. In the archives, there was something called a sheet film positive, which looks like a negative, but it was what the Pinkertons used to make the wanted poster. I could see that the Pinkertons version and this sheet film positive, the jaw looked more like the jaw of Butch in the picture I have, and also just more normal. And my feet went cold. I was like, this picture is altered. The Fort Worth 5 picture is altered. The Pinkertons had access to an unretouched negative. Holy fucking shit. The reason that I'm so confident that this is true is because the jawline on the Fort Worth 5 picture matches up exactly with the jawline on the 1894 picture, including the ears. And you go, well, yeah, it's the same guy. It should not match up. The mugshot is straight on. It is dead on. So you're gonna see each ear equally. The Fort Worth picture is taken from a slightly different angle. Not drastically, but enough that his ears should not be equally visible. Because the second you go like this, look, you see how this ear is disappearing a little bit, smaller and smaller, smaller. You still see it, right? But you can't. So I think he took his headshot, his mugshot. I used to be in showbiz. And he gave it to Swartz, the photographer in the studio, and he said, make me look like this. So here I am, more research. Well, guess what? They did a lot of that stuff. That was everywhere. They were enhancing pictures from the beginning of photography. Why wouldn't he want to leave an altered picture of him for everyone to chase? Of course he did. Chase this guy with this big jaw. The Fort Worth 5 picture is a one-frame play. It's beautiful. It's a perfect piece of fiction with a big fat, to everyone else, like, we're businessmen like everybody else. Ha ha ha. He fucked with us. He's still fucking with us. It's beautiful. I think he learned a lot from the tintype, which I believe was taken sometime in 4, 5, 6 weeks before. My tintype is what they really were. That's how they really lived. That's what they looked like. It's a portal to what those guys were living. There's emotion in it to me. I could take that thing out and look at it any time, and I just get lost in it. And I've been looking at it a lot over the last 10 or 11 years. I think that the establishment, whoever they may be in this case, this was a tough lesson for me, but when I found this, I just thought they were going to be thrilled. I thought they would be like, wow, thanks, buddy, And it was the complete opposite of that. Because the truth is, most people have a stake in the status quo. Any establishment has a huge stake in status quo. You want me to go away? Pick the wrong guy for that. Not gonna happen. I restore objects. A lot of them are meaningful to people. The tintype is an extension of that. It was like something that had no life in it. It was just sitting there, really. It certainly didn't have the life that a celebrity photo of one of the most celebrated outlaw anti-heroes in the history of history would be. It's one of the most comprehensive restorations, not one of the most comprehensive restoration of my life. Success at this point is the image being available for anybody and everybody to just enjoy, study, become mesmerized by the way it mesmerized me. And a couple bucks on the back end wouldn't be bad either. I don't think I'm going to buy a Ferrari. It's just not practical. But I'd like to, keep the man off my back the way Butch did.